And what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Inland Sports Show, here live and amplified on Wednesday night. My name is Pep Fernandez. We got some great interviews coming your way in just a moment. Shawn Fleming, the head football coach for Orange Vista. A little bit further down the road, we got Ben Benitez, the head coach for the Moreno Valley Vikings, 3-0 to start the season. Big win against Vista del Lago in the previous week. We'll talk a lot of high school football. We're going to talk Centennial. We're going to talk Mo-Val, as I just mentioned. Let's see, we're going to talk about Beaumont versus Vista Murrieta this week. That is a massive game. Also some girls flag football and a play from the San Bernardino Valley College football game that made its way to ESPN, courtesy of your friends right here at the Inland Sports Show. We'll tell you about that as well. But first, you guys love it. We love it. It's fun and it's controversial as well. It's the Bass Top 25 poll. But I'll say this, through the first 4 weeks of the season, there wasn't a lot of changes this week. Some minor things here and there, but not compared to the last couple of weeks where we saw some big changes in the top 25. So check it out. Centennial still at number one, right? When you beat the number one team in the country, modern day, you're not going anywhere. Centennial still number one, followed by Murrieta Valley. Beaumont at number 3 at 4-0. They will take on 3-0 Vista Murrieta this week. That is the biggest game of the week. It's our Ken Sporting Goods must-see game. We'll talk more about it later in the show. Chaparral comes in at number 4. Big win against Rancho Cucamonga. Number 7, Cajon. They are at 2-1, followed by Rancho Cuc. Aquinas coming off a bye. They got the Holy War this week against Notre Dame. And San Jacinto rounds out the top 10. On the other side, Summit, Ramona knocking on the door of the top 10. The Skyhawks are 3-1. The Rams are 4-0. The other Rams, Murrieta Mesa, they're 2-2. Orange Vista in at number 14 after getting their first win of the season. We're about to hear from Coach Fleming. And if you look at Orange Vista's schedule and their record, they've played 4 really close games. They could easily be 4-0. Right now the record says 1-3, but that's a good team. King is 3-1. Etowanda 2-2, followed by Great Oak. Santiago at 3-0. Elsinore checks in at number 19. They are 3-1, and they will take on Norte Vista this week. The Braves are also 3-1, and they come in at number 20. That's the Riverside TV game of the week, so you can watch it live. Temecula Valley back in the top 25. They check in at number 21. They are 3-1 on the season, followed by Mo-Val. The Vikings crack the top 25 for the first time this season. You know, beating Vista del Lago, that was a huge signature victory for Coach Benitez and the Vikes. So they go to number 22, just ahead of Vista del Lago in at number 23. Yucaipa in at number 24. Yucaipa fighting their way back up the rankings after a slow start this season, but the T-Birds are talented. And Riverside Poly at 2-2 rounds out the Bass Top 25 poll. We got some big games this week, including, well, of course, Beaumont and Vista Murrieta going head-to-head. Norco's got Citrus Valley. Centennial's going to play Rancho Cucamonga. So there's a number of really good games coming up here in week number 4. All right, let's go back to the interviews now, and our guy Shawn Fleming, the first-year head coach for the Orange Vista Coyotes, got his first win as the head coach. He used to run the defense for Coach Zomal. Now he's the head coach. They beat Warren in Downey on the road at 13-10. Close victory for the Coyotes, but they've really played 4 really close games in all so far on this season. They're going to travel to Vista in the San Diego section this week, trying to round out non-league play with another win before they get to Ivy League action. I'm a big fan. He knows it. He's one of my favorites. Here is Shawn Fleming from Orange Vista here on the Inland Sports Show. Inland Sports. And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show, the head coach of the Orange Vista Coyotes, and I'm a big fan. It's Shawn Fleming. Got his first win on the road at Warren High School in Downey. And Coach, listen, that first win as the head coach, it was going to happen, but how good does it feel just to, get that first one out of the way and now focus on the upcoming games, including Vista this week?
It feels good to get the monkey off your back. You always want the first one. It wasn't really the biggest thing on my mind. We just wanted to get better as a team. That's what we're really focused on. We knew it was a tough non-league schedule, but it does feel good to finally know that, we got our first win of the year. So the goal is to keep rolling from here.
Now, Coach, through the first 4 games, I mean, your record says 1-3, but at least in my opinion, I mean, you guys could be 4-0 right now. You've played
Yes.
4 really close games, like one possession kind of games.
Mhm.
What do you think? What do you think your team has learned, or maybe grown through this process of playing these close games, and maybe they'll be better, better for it in the long run?
Adversity. They're learning how to deal with adversity. I think that's the best thing about the tough non-league schedule. It's just to see where our guys really are, try to gauge, who we are, learn from it. And we definitely have learned a lot in these first 3 games, going, starting at Apple Valley is a tough school, going out to the desert, playing in the heat. We were cramping up a lot in that game. And then playing Downey, this is the second time we played them. We played them close. And then, going against Norco, playing them close. So I think they're learning how to play in close games. And I think going forward, it's going to be really beneficial to the team to try to pull those victories out in the future.
Now, Coach, you guys battled Norco, and Norco is having a real bounce-back season. I mean, they look kind of like old Norco again. You almost had them. I think it was 28-24 was that final score. But talk about the experience of going to SoFi Stadium and playing in an NFL stadium like that, and how cool was that just to be able to, play a game there, go in the same locker rooms and fields, and, just be in the same situation as, the Rams and the Chargers.
We try to prep the guys and let them know that, it's a different world. That was supposed to be a home game for us. It became a neutral site for both teams. We just try to prep the guys before the game and let them know that, initially everyone, you're going to kind of be starstruck. You're going to see all the lights and all the names and the field and everything that's going on. But at the end of the day, we just try to let them know that once that ball is kicked off, it's just a game. It's just a normal game. And they really treated it that way. Everybody felt the same, that after the first kickoff, we kind of forgot about how big the place was and it just felt like a football game.
Well, Coach, obviously Orange Vista's won 3 straight Ivy League championships, and I know league play is going to be here in a couple of weeks. So you got Vista this week, and then I think it's a bye week, right? And then you go right into Ivy League action. So you talked about non-league, kind of a growing process, right? You just want to get better week to week, game to game, to get ready for Ivy League and hopefully a CIF run as well. So where have you seen the growth on this team? You talked about dealing with adversity, but like on the field, have you seen any growth from your guys in any specific areas where you feel like, man, we are getting better, we are going to make a run at a fourth straight Ivy League title?
I think the big thing is offensively. We have a new OC here and Coach Dunlap, so that's something we've been trying to, instill the new offense in all the guys with Khalil and the new receivers. We're a really young team, and that's been our focus, is trying to make sure that the offense is right. We knew the defense would be fine. I've been the DC here for years. We knew we would continue doing what we've been doing, but our focus was to get the offense rolling. And they've been each week, they're getting better and better each week. So I definitely see the growth in the offense, and I think it's going to continue through our league schedule.
All right, Coach Fleming, now that you're 4 games into your first year as the head coach, give me something that you didn't realize you were responsible for as the head coach. I mean, like, head coaches tell me, I'm the head booster. I have, I'm in charge of the fireworks booth to raise money. I have to coordinate buses. Like, what's something you're like, man, I didn't know Coach Zoe had to do all this. Like, what's something new that you're like, wow, as the head coach, it all falls on you at the end of the day?
I tried to help out Zoe throughout the years with every little extra things he needed. So my guy is Coach Beeson, and a couple other coaches, they've been stepping up and helping me out. I think the big thing, I talked to Zoe about it, is game days. As a teacher, you still have responsibilities throughout the day, but just trying to gather every piece of equipment together, the kids, you get the coach, I need this, I need that. And, just trying to gather everything to get on the bus, especially for road games, trying to figure that out. And, it's a learning curve that I'm going through. And I'm learning each week. And, Zoe is still my mentor. He's still on campus, and every week after the game, I kind of debrief with him and ask him questions on how I can get better at whatever it is I feel like I failed at or I need to get better at. So it's definitely a learning experience for me.
How's Coach Zomalt doing? Is he loving just being a fan of the Coyotes now and just sitting back?
Oh, yeah, he actually is. It's shocking. He hasn't tried to get back on the sideline and call a few plays but he's enjoying being away from the game and just looking at the school stats and everything. And he still has access to Huddle, so he goes in there and watches the games, and sees how things are going. And he's still a great mentor for me. He's always giving me little tips and tidbits on what I can do to be a better coach and to lead these guys throughout the season.
Well, Coach Fleming, I asked you about your responsibilities as a head coach, if there was something you didn't realize that, kind of fell on your plate being the head coach. And there's a funny story. This was several years ago. Centennial was playing De La Salle, I think, for the state championship. And it was the morning of. It was a Saturday, and it was a morning of. And I interviewed Matt Logan. And I was like, hey, what are you doing right now to get ready for De La Salle? Breaking down X's and O's, watching film. And he's like, J.J. Taylor, the star running back, forgot his cleats. He's like, I'm trying to find a store that's open to go buy him cleats. We're not even worried about De La Salle or breaking down video. So it's just funny, like as a head coach and your responsibilities of, I don't know, maybe even on game days, who's feeding the kids and who's getting the food out and who's cleaning up afterwards. Like all that stuff is, I don't know, you've surrounded yourself with good people, but you're the head coach, right? So it's still in your sphere, right, to get that stuff done. Right.
No, all of that. We actually had a kid. We were just pulling out the gate at school, and the kid said, "Coach, I forgot my cleats." And so we had to stop, and we're on our way out to Downey. We got a long drive ahead of us. We got to stop so the kid gets his cleats. And the first week I forgot the waters and the Gatorades, and so it's just so many things that you have to focus on and think about, not just the game but preparation for the game. But each week I've gotten better. I have a checklist each week, so I'm getting better and better each week. So I'm growing. It's a learning process.
Well, Coach, getting that first win against Warren High School, do you feel like, I don't know, so far this week, I know it's early in the week, but does the team feel maybe a little more confident or maybe a little momentum? Like, okay, good, we got that first one. We know we're still a good football team. We've played some really close games. It feels good to get over that hump. Maybe mindset or just the vibe with the team a little bit different this week?
I think it's still the same. These kids are really locked in. They understood who we were playing, and the schedule was tough. Warren is a good team, well coached, a lot of athletes running around. But I think the difference is going into that game, we had adversity, and we had adversity in that game as well. But at the end of the day, I mean, it came down to the last play of the game, and the defense stood up and made the play that needed to be made. And they figured out how to get over the top, so we had 3 games where we were struggling and we were right there. And then now this 4th game, we actually got over the top. So I think they learned from how to fight through adversity. It's going to be tough games, but at the end of the day, you just got to stick to it, and you'll eventually get some wins out of there.
All right, finally, Coach, without giving away all of your secrets, you got Vista this week from the San Diego section. What do you think are the keys to victory to get one more win in non-league action for you guys?
Execute. That's something we've been preaching all non-league, is we have to execute against these good teams, making sure that we're utter focused on doing all the little things. Everyone understands the big picture, but sometimes you kind of lose sight of the little things. So we've just been trying to pay attention to detail this week, all the little small things, and go into the game just making sure that, we don't have any personal mistakes, nothing that we did to ourselves, no one's self-inflicted injury. So that's the big thing. And then, we've had a few injuries, so now it's the time to start getting healthy before we get to league. So that's the biggest thing that we've had for us.
Man, Coach, I feel like we just started the season and we're already talking about league play right around the corner. I mean, it's already flying by. I don't know how you feel. I feel like it's just flying.
Right. No, it's going faster than I thought. I mean, it was fast as a coordinator. It's even faster as a head coach. My days don't end. I wake up and I don't think I go to sleep, so.
There's always something, right? Like the Gatorades, what plays am I going to call? Who's starting at this position? So-and-so is late to practice. It's always something, right?
Always some mouthpieces, knee pads. It's always something. So I try to keep extras of everything. So.
Well, Coach Fleming, I'm a big fan. Congrats on that first win as the head coach. I'm sure there's many more coming your way. And good luck this week against Vista High School.
Man, I really appreciate the opportunity, Pep. Man, it's great always talking to you, man. Anytime you hit me up, I'm always there for you. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, Coach. That's Shawn Fleming, the head football coach for the Orange Vista Coyotes here on the Inland Sports Show. Inland Sports. Let's go, Coach Fleming. Go get Vista this week. All right, when we come back here on the Inland Sports Show, we'll talk some Centennial football. Big win for the Huskies, obviously, against Mater Dei and Moreno Valley football. The Vikings 3-0. We'll check in with head coach Ben Benitez when we come back here on the Inland Sports Show right after this.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Ken Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Bass Athletics in Corona, driven by passion and hard work, Bass Athletics helps student-athletes push their limits, compete with heart, and build the discipline to succeed in sports, school, and life. For more information on the Bass Private School, visit bassathletics.com. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands with Dr. Marcus Paulson. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist that you can trust. And Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken. The Inland Sports Show is proud to partner with Dr. Marcus Paulson and Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Dr. Paulson and his team work with children, teens, and adults using orthodontic products like traditional braces and Invisalign to make a difference in the appearance, comfort, and function of each patient's teeth. Paulson Orthodontics welcomes new patients, so schedule a visit today. Paulson Orthodontics. We make braces fun.
And we are back here on the Inland Sports Show, live and amplified on Wednesday night. My name is Pep Fernandez. Give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you're down with high school sports here in the IE. We got more high school football right now. It's time for our Bass Athletics Play of the Week. Actually, I should say Plays of the Week because we've got two of them. We have one from Thursday night football action and one from Friday night football action. We'll start with the Friday game because it was Centennial taking on the #1 team in the country, Mater Dei. And the Huskies are rarely playing the role of underdog, but they were in this game against Mater Dei, who had not lost to Centennial since 2015. They had not lost to anyone but St. John Bosco in the last 10 years. But Centennial got off to a great start. They led 28-0 after the first quarter, but you knew Mater Dei was going to bounce back. Mater Dei outscored Centennial 29-0 in the third quarter. So now we fast forward to the fourth quarter, and here we go.
Inland Sports.
Bass Athletics Play of the Week, tied at 36. Mater Dei with the football. The Monarchs fumble the football. Centennial recovers with about 2.5 minutes to play, and the Huskies punch in the go-ahead touchdown to give themselves, with the extra point, a 43-36 lead, okay? So here comes another angle of that touchdown because they had to muscle their way in. Davis, the running back, pushing the pile over the goal line for the score. Mater Dei gets the football back. They had plenty of time, but check out a big-time play, the interception to seal the deal for Centennial. 43-36, the final score. One of our Bass Athletics Plays of the Week. Centennial upset Mater Dei in dramatic fashion. What a ball game. Now, on Thursday night, we had another dramatic finish. In fact, there was a lot of great games this previous week for high school football, but on Thursday night, it was Moreno Valley versus Vista del Lago. That's a rivalry game with Ben Benitez, the head coach for Moreno Valley. We're going to hear from him a little bit later in the show. He used to coach at VDL, but he went back to his alma mater at Moreno Valley. I know this was an important game for him. Moval's off to an undefeated start, and it really came down to the very end of the game. So here's another Bass Athletics Play of the Week.
Inland Sports.
All right, check it out. So it's going to be quarterback Cyree Matthews to Ricky Jaramillo, not once, but twice in the fourth quarter. Moval was trailing the Ravens by 10, but a couple Matthews to Jaramillo touchdowns, and Moval takes the lead 30-27. Vista del Lago would get the football back. They would have one more crack at it, and man, would they come close. Check out Josiah Boyd Dupree, the final throw, and his receiver Jalen Brown pushed out right there near the pylon, and that would be it. 30-27, Moreno Valley wins. They are 3-0, and that is another Bass Athletics Play of the Week. What a crazy finish in that game as well. And Colton versus Palm Springs was also a crazy game. So we had a lot of great games this past week. All right, but back to Moreno Valley. We want to check in with Moreno Valley head coach Ben Benitez, going back to his alma mater, the Vikings. They had a great bounce-back season last year, and it has continued into this season. The Vikings are 3-0 right now. They've got some big-time goals. We're talking league championships, CIF playoff run, maybe even go 10-0 during the regular season. I know it's only one game at a time. Focus on who you got this week. But, man, a 10-0 regular season feels like a real possibility for this Moval team. Here is head coach Ben Benitez on the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports.
And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show, fresh off a huge victory against Vista del Lago. It is the head coach of your Moreno Valley Vikings, Ben Benitez. And Coach Benitez, listen, you coached at VDL, but I know you are a Moreno Valley high school guy. Despite your connections with Coach Tui and the Ravens, they do a fantastic job. How big of it was a win for you and to do that for your alma mater at Moval?
Well, I mean, it was a huge win for our community. A lot of guys, when I came back to Moval originally, a lot of guys, number one on their suggested to-do list was bring the trophy back.
Right.
And for a long time, it wasn't really much of a rivalry there. I think prior to Tui taking over, Vista Lago, like in that 15-year span, had only won one other time. So, just that they kind of flipped we flipped the city, to Vista Lago, and to come back home and finally get one. We almost had them last year, man. We kind of fumbled it away on the 20-yard line going in for that touchdown. So, we really were looking forward to this game, and to be able to do it, it just was such a relief and such a exciting moment for us and the kids. So we're super excited about it.
Dude, exciting win, exciting for the school and the program, and the way you guys did it. I mean, Cyree Matthews and Ricky Jaramillo, right? He caught two touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Can you just say what those guys were able to do to step up late in the game and make huge plays when the Vikings needed it the most?
Well, Cyree has been having a great start to this season. And I'm really proud of him just for kind of like staying the course, because we probably played our worst game of the season, in this early part of the season. But and a lot of kids, might not take that well, and he took it in stride and kind of like stayed focused and was like next play mentality. And when the moments were the biggest moments of the game, he showed up and delivered. And my man Ricky, man, I love Ricky. Obviously, he's actually a 3-year starter for us. He came over and played for us as a freshman my first year, and last year was having a crazy great start to the season and tore his meniscus, so he ended up missing half of the season. So to have him come back, and then right before the season, he had like a AC joint injury, and we didn't know if we were going to have him for a little while. And for him to come back and then finally have this moment I couldn't be more happy for a kid, or just everything he's gone through, be able to overcome it and have 2 big touchdowns, help us win the game. Super excited for that guy. And, I appreciate him sticking it out with us, because I know it's been a rough journey for him.
Yeah, man. I didn't know those backstories on those guys. That's awesome, and it probably makes that victory a lot more sweeter. To pull that out against a rival like that. So, Coach, you guys are 3-0. I mean, what have you liked about your team through the first 3 victories of the season? What are you guys doing well right now? Obviously, perseverance, right? Like hanging tough and making big plays late in games. But what else do you like about your team right now?
I like the culture of our team. We're very, very close to each other, like tight-knit group, and the coaching staff is, we're all really good friends, and everybody just gets along really well. The culture on our campus right now is very upbeat. We're just, I feel like we're finally in a place where everybody believes in themselves also. So I think that, I tell the kids all the time, having belief in yourself is half of the battle. Yeah. If you believe you can do it, then you can. Right. And so them just believing they can actually play some of these teams and make some of these plays to actually win these games. It really allows you to kind of play free, kind of play fearless. And going into this, I think we've had a different look in our eyes this year. And so I'm super excited about just their composure and their commitment and their belief that we could be a good football team this year.
All right, Coach, I don't have your schedule open in front of me, but who's your next 2 non-league games?
We got La Sierra up and then Chaffee.
Oh, that's all right. La Sierra on Thursday. I might see you at that one. I might actually pop in for a little bit, and then
cool.
in Chaffee before you guys hit Inland Valley League. Now, listen, I'm not trying to set you up to predict you going 10-0, but it would be pretty nice to run the table in non-league and then get to league play and come out with a league championship. But speaking of league play, I mean, there's a couple other teams doing really well, getting off to hot starts in the Inland Valley League as well. So. But I would figure Moval's going to be there in the mix, right, at the end of the day when we're talking about league champions.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely hope so, right? We're coming off the league championship last year. We brought back the majority of the team. I think I only had 7 seniors graduate last year, really, and maybe half of those guys actually had significant playing time. So we started 5 freshmen on our football team last year. So we're super excited to be able to go back there and compete, and obviously it'd be amazing to go 10-0, but you can't go 10-0 unless you go 1-0 10 times. And so that's kind of been our mantra, just win the week. Don't think too far ahead, win the week. I give the kids, 24-hour rule. After the win, you got 24 hours, celebrate, feel good about yourself, and then back to film, and we're back at it. We're moving on to the next opponent. So right now we got La Sierra, I've already looked at them on film. Coach, I'm actually good friends with that coach over there, La Sierra, and, his son's started quarterback. Steven
Coach Moore.
Really good. Yep. Steven looks really good, on film, and, I'm really excited for that program and where he's taking things, and I hope they do well, and hopefully we can just have a good game, stay healthy, and then we're on the Chaffee. You know what I mean?
Well, Coach Benitez, like you said, going back to last season, you had guys coming back. You didn't graduate that many seniors, so you probably knew you had some talent coming back. But to get off to a 3-0 start to the season, do you feel like maybe – I know the kids would say like a swagger, but just like a confidence, like you said, hey, we can line up with a lot of teams and win these games. Like we should be, in all 10 regular season games. We have a chance to win all of these. Do you feel like there's like some momentum or some confidence building up in this team, win after win?
I definitely think so. I would kind of pinpoint it back to pregame against Paloma Valley. You know, uh, we have a little routine that we do, and I go in there, we do a team prayer, and I give a little speech, and then we walk up to the stadium. And normally, in past practice, I'm going in there, kids got the radio blaring, and they're kind of like just getting ready, hyping themselves up. This time when I walked in, it was dead silence, no music. Everybody was saying. Everybody was ready, and two things crossed my mind. I was like, "Ooh, we're either gonna get blown out because we're scared, or we're really locked in right now." And so I was hoping it was, the second option here. And I was like, "You guys okay, man? We just locked in today." And a couple guys just looked at me and was like, "Yeah, we're ready to go."
And how does that make you feel as the coach? Like you didn't have to tell them, "Hey guys, focus, get locked in. Paloma Valley's good. If you're not ready." Oh, we're going to lose tonight. Like, how did that make you feel like you walked in? These guys already knew what to do. I mean, they were ready to handle business.
I mean, it's a good feeling because if it's always coming from the coach, we're probably not a good football team. And when it finally transitioned to that, that culture of it's coming from the kids and the coach doesn't have to say a lot, then you're probably got a decent little program going. And so it was a really good moment for me where I was like, you know what? We might have something special here, and I have really good seniors this year. The leadership has been amazing, and so I think, and I mean, being so young, these past few years, we finally got some veteran football players, right? We got some dudes who are 3-year starters. I mentioned Ricky; he's only a junior, but he's a 3-year starter. We got a couple Pitt. We call him Pitbull. His name's Brian. He played as a freshman. He's a 3-year starter, and so we have some really young guys who've played significant varsity football time. And so it's one of those things where we're not trying to convince kids to be football players. We have football players now, and we're excited about that.
All right, Coach Benitez, I know it's all about La Sierra this Thursday, right? You're only focused on the Eagles, but I'm just for my own informational, educational purposes, you're a Moval guy, so I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but do you know, has Moval ever had a team go 10-0 during the regular season?
I'm actually a really big history guy too.
Okay.
Mobile history. I've been putting trying to get all the stats together. We have a lot of holes, but I go through a lot of yearbooks. I know in years past they've been undefeated 2 other times.
Okay.
I think the very first season actually they were 9-0-1.
Okay.
Right. So they had a tie. Right. They 0 losses, but they had a tie.
Yeah.
And then I believe the 2015 football season. They went 10-0, obviously, and we ended. I was actually on that staff. We ended up losing, I think, in the second round playoffs on a Hail Mary. Like we were having a crazy season, and Palm Desert threw a 70-yard Hail Mary pass that sent us home. And so 2 other times in 61 years of existence. It'd be cool to be able to put my name on a 10-0 season. So,
and I'd assume that's probably, that's a goal, right? You can give the kids like, hey guys, let's go 5-0 in league, let's go 5-0 in league play, let's finish 10-0 in the regular season. Is that something maybe you could use to kind of, it sounds like they're already motivated, they're already locked in, but something to kind of, hey guys, if we play hard, we could have a really special season that only a couple, Moreno Valley teams have ever done.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a point of conversation for all the kids every year, right? Every year, every football team is probably, at the summertime posting ring season.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody has hopes to do it. But when you really get in the thick of it all, it's hard. You got injuries, you have different things that might not go your way, penalties. Really, realistically, we probably should have lost if it's Vista del Lago. But they had a couple penalties there at the end and a couple, mental errors on their kids that propelled us and allowed us to win, and so that's just the way football is. Sometimes the ball just don't bounce your way. So to be able to be locked in 10 weeks in a row, get 10 wins in a row, I think if we were able to do it, that'd be amazing. Obviously, it's it's a wish, but not the goal, right? The goal is just to compete every week, give our best effort, and see where it falls. You know, if we go out there, especially like against Vista del Lago, the message was just go out there and give it your all. Don't leave the field shaking your head like, dang, I wish I could have, should have, would have. Just give me your best shot. And let's see, do we win? Are we the better football team? If not, oh well, you know, it's a non-league game anyway. We'll keep it moving forward. And to come out with the win, we're you know, obviously that goal is still up there of a potential 10-0 season, but we were just happy with the win.
You know, and I'm not trying to be overly dramatic, but since you've been the head coach at Val, do you think that's your biggest win or like your signature victory so far?
Oh, I mean, definitely. I mean, my first year was a struggle. We only won 2 games. In my first day of practice, I tell people all the time, I was like, we only have 15 kids. Like, I kind of knew, I was like, this is probably going to not be that great of a season. I only have 15 students, you know, having to recruit just our campus, like kids, hey man, you look like you might be good at football. Come on and try, you know. And really, it took all the way through August to be able to find like 35 kids to field a varsity football team. And, you know, last year we beat Canyon Springs for a league championship. That was a very big moment to bring. Also, we have a rivalry trophy, the Butterfield Trophy between those 2 schools also. So to bring that home, that one was big. But to beat Vista del Lago, who's one of the top programs in our area now, Coach Tui, love that guy. You know, I wouldn't actually be a head coach without him. You know, he gave me my first shot as an offense coordinator. I was there with him for 5 seasons, and that program is just solid. You know, they got a ton of talent, great coaches, and to be able to overcome and climb that mountain and you know, hey, we're here too. Like, yeah, this is definitely our biggest win for sure.
Well, Coach, you're having a couple really good days, man. You guys beat Vista del Lago. Our Niners go on the road and beat New Orleans. Like, it's a great weekend, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's been a good couple of days here.
Well, Coach, listen, congratulations. I'm sure there's more wins to come for you guys this season. I really do appreciate your time, and best of luck. And hopefully we can do this again down the road when maybe we're talking about titles and championships.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you again for having me, and I appreciate the love and the consideration to be on the program. So keep doing what you're doing, man. You know we love you in IE, so appreciate you.
All right, and one more thing. Spoiler alert: you guys are in the top 25 this week, so keep an eye out for that. You forced your way in. We couldn't keep you out any longer. You forced your way in. So
you know it's crazy. So I watched the pep rally, and you guys mentioned that might be a thing. I started thinking about it. I was like, dang, I'm gonna have to go back and start digging. I don't remember the last time Mobile was in the top 25. So it's gonna be a good for our kids, you know, to be up there. Now that we're there, we got to keep it, right? We got to earn it every week. And now we're not hunting anybody. We're going to be hunting, right? They're going to come for us. We're going to get everybody's best game. So hopefully we make you proud.
Dude, you're on the radar now for sure, man. You're in the top 25. And now this time of the year, it starts getting messy because think about it. Vista del Lago beat Valley View and Riverside Poly. But you guys beat Vista del Lago, so theoretically you should be ahead of all those teams. So we'll have to wait and see what happens when we release the poll this week.
Absolutely. We'll see how it shakes out. Hopefully we keep the thing going. Appreciate you.
You got it. That's Ben Benitez, the head coach of your Moreno Valley Vikings here on the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports.
All right, we'll see if Val can pull off another win this week. And the 49ers, too. We're both 49er fans, so that was cool to check in with Coach Benitez with Moreno Valley. When we come back here on the Inland Sports Show, let's see. We're going to talk Vista Murrieta versus Beaumont this week. That is a huge game. The top matchups coming up in week number 4. Little girls flag football and some SBVC football that you might have seen on ESPN. We'll be right back here on the Inland Sports Show right after this.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and letterman's jackets. Bass Athletics in Corona, driven by passion and hard work, Bass Athletics helps student athletes push their limits, compete with heart, and build the discipline to succeed in sports, school, and life. For more information on the Bass Private School, visit bassathletics.com. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands with Dr. Marcus Paulson. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist that you can trust. And Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken.
Eagles go into Kansas City and they pull out a 20-17 victory. So now Kansas City, dating back to the Super Bowl in which they lost to Philadelphia, they have lost 3 games in a row. That's never happened in the Patrick Mahomes era where they lose 3 games in a row to Philly twice, right? And the Chargers in the season opener. So yeah, 20-17 in Kansas City. I don't think the Chiefs are a bad team. They're just not the same team.
They're not the same team. And I think that as a Chiefs fan, you're kind of starting to realize maybe how spoiled you've been the last 6 years. Everything has gone your way. You have had some luck bounce your way a lot. And finally, it seems like maybe just a little bit. Of course, we're going to overreact because it's the beginning of the season. But it seems like they've come back down to earth after 6 years. So they should count themselves really lucky. Other than that, though, these Eagles, man, they just seem to have the recipe. I mean, they make me feel like I'm playing Madden back in 1994, just off tackle, you know what I mean? Or, guard trap. I mean, they just Saquon Barkley in that interior running. It is old school and very effective.
Yeah, they're just going to grind it out, right? I like their defense. They got Saquon Barkley running the football. They are just going to grind it out and punish you. And maybe that is the recipe. Maybe other teams across the league look at that and say that's how you beat Kansas City. USC went on the road. They beat Purdue 33-17. They're 3-0, which was great. They win their Big Ten opener. But now they get Michigan State. And so it's gradually getting a little bit tougher as we get deeper into the season. So I know USC is looking good. This will be a real test, though, taking on Sparty.
You know what? We talked about, the very beginning of the season, like, oh man, these are tomato cans, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about, hey, maybe this is the way to do it, to kind of ramp up the competition, go to the tomato can. Okay, go into Purdue and win a little bit tougher. Now we have the real test. If you are going to do it, Lincoln Riley might be pulling this off just right, because that defense is looking good. But you're right. Now we get to see the real test against Michigan State. I want to say they're going to pull it off. I don't know why.
They might. I mean, they looked good enough against Purdue. And listen, Purdue's a Big Ten school, and if you win on the road in the Big Ten, every win is a good win. So we're going to find out. But as we get deeper into the season, you're going to see tougher and tougher opponents. Like, the schedule only gets tougher for USC. Yeah. So if they're trying to gradually build up to that, that's exactly what they're doing. And they're 3-0 right now.
Inland Sports.
All right, hanging out with Patrick in the morning on KCAL 96.7 FM every Monday and Thursday morning, talking sports, talking a lot of NFL right now, a lot of football, so check it out. All right, speaking of football, man, we have got a great game coming up this week, pitting two of the top teams in the Inland Empire, and both of them undefeated right now. It's the Ken Sporting Goods must-see game. The Beaumont Cougars, 4-0, travel down to 3-0 Vista Murrieta. Big-time quarterback battle. Jeremiah Duhu for Beaumont and Bryson Beaver for the Broncos. Plus, remember, and I did not forget, Jeff Steinberg, head coach at Beaumont, came on the Inland Sports Show right before the season began and said if his team went 5-0 in non-league, he would do the same hairstyle as star linebacker Matt Casas, which his hair was like bleached and then it looked like spider webs on top. So, Coach, we remember you said if you guys went 5-0, you do the old spider web hair like Matt Casas, and that's our Ken Sporting Goods must-see game. So one more win, and Coach Steinberg, we're going to see spider webs on your head. You said if you went 10-0 during the regular season, you would do the modern mullets. So we're keeping tabs. We got receipts here on the Inland Sports Show. But in all seriousness, it should be an awesome game, Beaumont and Vista Murrieta this week. All right, let's take a look at some of the other big games in the Inland Sports Show coverage area. Here we go. Week 4, Centennial on the heels of that massive win against Mater Dei. They will take on the Kook, Rancho Cucamonga. San Jacinto will travel up to Cajon in what could be an exciting, high-scoring game. Two great teams, two great coaches, tons of great players in that game. Great Oak versus Chaparral in a battle for Temecula. We've got Ramona versus Riverside Poly in another edition of the Solar Series. And Poly Athletic Director Jim Vaughn gave me a little history on the Solar Series. From what he understands, the series began during the time of the space race, right, between the United States and Russia, and who could get to the moon first, and sending rockets into orbit and into space. So that's why they call it the Solar Series, because that's when it started around the same time, at least according to the AD Jim Vaughn, the way he understands it. So we're gonna go with that. Elsinore versus Norda Vista. Kai Tamigpong, big time running back for Elsinore. The Braves have Dreddy Elaine. It's gonna be, I think, a low scoring but very quick game because they're going to run the football hard. Rialto versus Banning, that's another good one. And Norco looking to stay undefeated as they take on Citrus Valley. The Cougars trying to go to 5-0 on the season to head into the bye week. And we will have all the scores and some highlights from some of the games that we were just talking about. This Friday night on the Pep Rally on Riverside TV, we go live at 11 p.m. all the way up until midnight, myself and Jeff Gorham. All your scores, highlights, and a lot of fun. The Friday Night Pep Rally on Riverside TV. Hope you'll join us and stay up late on Friday night. All right, some girls flag football. Crazy finish between Ramona and Patriot in a critical River Valley League game. Let's take you out to Loma Linda Academy, and it was Ramona up by a score of 7-6 with time running out on Patriot. And it will be Alana Carrillo. Takes the pass and lunges in for the game-winning touchdown with literally less than a second on the clock. 0.9 of a second left on the scoreboard, and that would be it. Patriot wins by a final score of 12-7. You can catch complete highlights this week on the Riverside Sports Update on Riverside TV. So look for that. All right, and finally, let's talk some college football. San Bernardino Valley College coming off a blowout victory against Compton College. The Wolverines now 2-1 on the season. There was a ton of highlights in this game, but maybe none bigger than a spectacular one-handed catch by receiver Davion Ellis. In fact, before I show you the actual highlight, it was on ESPN. It was on SportsCenter. It was number 3 on SportsCenter's top 10 over the weekend. Take a listen.
Miami wins 49-12 over them Bulls. San Bernardino Valley College would like a word. Davion Ellis going to go ahead and reach back to make the catch. I want to see this one more time. We got frustrated. Oh, yes, that's nice. And those chrome helmets, too.
All right, so Inland Sports getting some love on ESPN. Here is the actual clip in better condition here. Ellis goes up the amazing touchdown catch for SBVC. They're 2-1. Big win against Compton. Here is SBVC head coach James Griffin following the big win against Compton, but also turning their attention to a tough Victor Valley squad.
You know, it's their game, and the guys are starting to buy into the system. I still say this team got here June the 9th, you know, and so we 2 months and a half, 3 months in the hole, and it is starting to show now. These guys are starting to believe in the system, and, you know, the practice habits we have right now are through the roof. Coach Williams is, you know, calling great game plan for the guys on defense, and they're just flying around making plays now. Victor Valley is going to be a tough game, high scoring offense against a great defense. But like I tell everybody, you know, it's all about the preparation. Like I told these guys at halftime, you know, we got a big game coming up, so let's start preparing for the big game. When you blowing the team out like that, let's start, you know, throwing some different coverages, working on some, you know, getting extra practice reps. But it's going to be a big game, and excited about, you know, the whiteout we have in, you know, so the community will be here, and, you know, we'll enjoy the preparation for that.
All right, Coach Griffin has certainly turned things around out there at SBVC. Wolverines and Victor Valley College Saturday night at 6 p.m. And also more college football on Saturday. RCC home for a high noon contest against Saddleback. That's another good one here locally in the Inland Sports Show area. Big thanks to our guests, including Ben Benitez, head football coach from Moreno Valley, and Shawn Fleming from Orange Vista. Both great guys and great coaches. And best of luck to both those programs rest of the season. My name is Pep Fernandez. God bless you guys. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show. Good night, everybody.